Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
And now chapter 13, Perfect Knowledge through Surrender. Text 28. Devahutiruvacha Kachitvayuchita bhakti Kidrishi mama gochara Yayapadam te nirvanam Angjasan Vaisnava aham. Translation. On hearing this statement of the Lord, Devahuti inquired, "What kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately attain the service of your lotus feet?" Purport. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that no one is barred from rendering service to the Lord. Whether one is a woman or a laborer or a merchant, if he engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, he is promoted to the highest perfectional state and goes back home, back to Godhead. The devotional service most suitable for different types of devotees is determined and fixed by the mercy of the spiritual master. Therefore, in order to become free from the miseries of material nature, one should approach a bona fide spiritual master inquisitively and submissively. When Arjuna submitted to Krishna, he said, "My dear Krishna, now I no longer care to talk to you as a friend because friendly talks will not benefit me now." Generally, we talk to a friend just to spend time, but when we approach a spiritual master, we should be submissive. Friends approach one another on an equal basis, but this is not the way to approach a spiritual master. Unless one is submissive, one cannot accept sublime instructions. Arjuna teaches us submission by giving up his friendly relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, "I have now become your disciple. Please instruct me." We can speculate for many births, for many years, and yet not be able to understand the ultimate goal of life. Therefore, the Shastras all advise that we search out a guru. The word guru means heavy or weighty. One who has much knowledge is heavy with knowledge. One should consider the bona fide guru in this way, and one should not think, "I know everything. Who can teach me?" No one can say such a thing, for everyone needs instruction. According to the Vedic system, a child is sent to a gurukul to learn spiritual knowledge from the very beginning. When a child goes to a gurukula, he becomes a brahmachari and works like a menial servant. He may be the son of a great Brahmin or a great king. It doesn't matter. When one goes to a gurukula, he immediately becomes the menial servant of the guru. If the guru orders him to perform some lowly service, he is prepared to do it. This is the business of a brahmachari. Even Krishna went to a gurukula to teach us. There was no need for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to go to a gurukula, but he did this simply to set an example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also accepted a guru. Prakashananda Sarasvati was a very learned scholar, and he knew that Caitanya Mahaprabhu was also a great scholar, yet he criticized Caitanya Mahaprabhu for chanting and dancing, for Prakashananda Sarasvati felt that a sannyasi should devote his entire attention to the reading of Vedanta. He therefore considered Caitanya Mahaprabhu a sentimentalist, not a bona fide sannyasi. Prakashananda Sarasvati inquired, "Why aren't you reading Vedanta Sutra? Why are you chanting and dancing?" Caitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Prabhu kahe shuna Shripada ehara karana. Guru more murkha deki karila shasana." Which means, quote, "Actually, I am not very learned, and my guru has stated that I am fool number one. He said that because of this, I cannot possibly read Vedanta Sutra, for Vedanta Sutra is not meant for an ordinary person. My Guru therefore advised me to chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and now I am doing this and getting the results." Unquote. From the Caitanya Caritamrta, Adi Lila, chapter 7, verse 71. At the present moment in Kali Yuga, people are not well educated. They are simply engaged in earning money to fill the belly. Vedanta philosophy is not meant for an ordinary person, nor even for an ordinary learned person. It requires great knowledge of Sanskrit and philosophy. Of course, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knew all things, but at that moment he had assumed the role of an ordinary person in order to instruct an illiterate, ignorant society. In this age, people are not even interested in reading Vedanta Sutra. People are so badly infected by the influence of Maya that they do not even care to understand that there is life after death, or that there are 8,400,000 life forms. Sometimes if people hear that by acting in such a way they will become a tree, a dog, a cat, an insect, or even a human being, they say that they do not even care to know this. Sometimes they say, "Never mind if I become a dog, what's wrong with that? I will simply forget everything." Many university students in the Western countries speak this way. They have become so ignorant that they are described as Manda. Previously, in India, the Brahmins were interested in understanding Brahman. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. However, at the present moment, everyone is a Shudra, and no one is interested in understanding Brahman. People are simply interested in getting more money and going to the cinemas. Human life is meant for understanding our situation, and we should take instructions from Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is personally teaching us by accepting Krishna as his guru. He asks Krishna to become his spiritual master and teach him. The lessons given by Sri Krishna are not simply meant for Arjuna, but for everyone. Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita that we should search out a guru. The first guru is Sri Krishna himself, and whoever represents Sri Krishna is also a guru. If I am a businessman and someone goes to canvass for my business and take orders for me, he is my representative. If he simply says that he is my representative and yet takes some orders but uses the money for something else, he is not really my representative. Krishna's representative does not say, "I have become Krishna." Such a person is neither a representative nor a guru. He is simply a cheater. Krishna's representative is one who canvasses for Krishna. Krishna says, "Give up everything and surrender unto me." Krishna's representative says, "Give up everything and simply surrender unto Krishna." This is certainly not very difficult to understand. Anyone can become Krishna's representative. Nonetheless, for the past 200 years, many yogis and swamis have gone to foreign countries, but no one has spoken about Krishna. They have simply presented a hodgepodge of Indian philosophy. No one has actually presented Vedic culture as it is. We should read Bhagavad Gita as it is and understand the philosophy as Arjuna understood it. Arjuna was a friend of Krishna's. He was sitting with Krishna and speaking to him as a friend speaks to a friend. In the 11th chapter, after having seen the universal form, Arjuna tells Krishna, "I have in the past addressed you as, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love." Arjuna understood that although Krishna was his friend, he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore the proper person to be his guru. He therefore told Krishna at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 7, "Shishyaste ham shadi mam tvam prapanam," which means, quote, "Now I am your disciple, and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me." Unquote. These are the instructions we get from Bhagavad Gita, and whoever reads Bhagavad Gita has to accept Krishna as the Guru. We have to render service to a Guru and surrender ourselves. It is not that one should accept just any person as a Guru. The Guru must be the representative of Krishna. Then one can surrender oneself. Surrender means that one will accept whatever the Guru says. It is not that one thinks, "I do not care for my Guru's order. Still, I am a disciple." This is not actually accepting a Guru. Of course, it has become a fashion to accept a Guru in this way, but this will not help anyone. As soon as Krishna became Arjuna's Guru, Krishna immediately chastised him. Krishna told him, "Ashochan anvashocastvam, pragya vadamsh cha bhashase, gata sun agata sumsh cha, nanu shochanti pandita," which means, quote, "While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead." Unquote. From the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 11. In this way, Krishna essentially told Arjuna that he was fool number one for lamenting for those things for which one should not lament. Arjuna was lamenting for the body, thinking that it was horrible that his relatives would be killed in war. This was not the proper subject matter for him to be contemplating. The real subject matter for a wise man to contemplate is the salvation of the soul. Therefore, Sri Krishna first explained the distinction between the body and the soul. This Krishna consciousness movement is also concerned with the soul, and therefore we have used the word consciousness, because consciousness belongs to the soul. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul's presence. Because the soul is in the body feels pleasure and pain. When the soul leaves the body can be hacked to pieces, and yet it will not protest. This is because the consciousness is gone. We feel pleasure and pain because consciousness is present, and Krishna advises us that it is this consciousness that is eternal, not the body. We have to purify our consciousness in order to understand that consciousness is eternal. If we can do this, our lives will be successful. At the time of death, our consciousness carries us into another body. There are the mind, the intelligence, and the ego, which constitute the subtle body, and there is also the spirit soul, which is even more subtle. We know that we possess a mind, although we cannot see it, nor can we see the intelligence, the ego, or the soul. We can only see the gross material body, and when this gross material body ends, we say that everything is finished. In order to understand these things, we have to approach a guru, just as Arjuna approached Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna told Arjuna in very gentlemanly language that he was not a learned man. In essence, he said, "You are not a pundit. Just try to understand that the real life is the life of the soul." Vedic education means taking care of the soul. Presently, the soul is encaged, embodied, entangled in material affairs. The soul is suffering, and it is to our benefit to rescue him from these material clutches. This is real education. To receive this education, one has to approach a proper guru. The guru is there, Krishna. The guru is also there as Kapila Dev, the incarnation of Krishna. Krishna informs us that he is the owner of the body, and he has explained this in many different ways. He has stated that the soul can never be cut into pieces, burned by fire, moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Matter interacts with matter, but the soul does not belong to the material world. This means that the soul is above material action and reaction. In the material world, even iron and stone can be melted, but the laws of material nature do not apply to the spirit soul. To understand these subjects, we should be careful to approach Krishna's representative. We should not approach a bogus guru, who is like a blind man trying to lead other blind men. We must go to one who has open eyes, to one who has seen the absolute truth. The absolute truth is there, just as the sun is there for everyone to see. The sun does not hide, but a person can try to hide from the sun by closing his door. One must open the door in order to see the sun. Similarly, Krishna is there, God is there, and we have to come to Krishna and take the lessons of Bhagavad Gita to learn who and what God is. Rascals will not do this, but will simply manufacture some philosophy or other. There is actually no difficulty because Krishna's instructions are there, and Krishna himself is there. Krishna is so kind that he says, "All right, if you cannot understand me in this way, just see me in water. Come on, if you do not understand me in that way, just see me in the sunshine." Is this very difficult? There is nothing difficult about it, but we are very obstinate. Maya is also very strong, and as soon as we try to accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord, Maya will whisper in our ear, "No, no, there are many gods. Why are you accepting Krishna?" However, the Shastras say, "Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam, Ishvara Parama Krishna," which means, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should take our lessons from the Acharyas and the Shastras. At least in India, there are many great Acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, and even Shankaracharya and Guru Nanak. All of these have accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why then should we reject him? Why should we accept a competitor? We should not simply engage in mental speculation, but should accept Krishna in full consciousness and be happy. This is made possible by the help of the Guru. Therefore, Devahuti is further questioning her son, Kapila Dev. Text 29. Yo yogo Bhagavad bano nirvanatmam stvayodita kidrisha kati changani yatas tattva vabodhanam. Translation. The mystic yoga system, as you have explained, aims at the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is meant for completely ending material existence. Please let me know the nature of that yoga system. How many ways are there by which one can understand in truth that sublime yoga? Purport. There are different kinds of mystic yoga systems aiming for different phases of the Absolute Truth. The Jnana Yoga system aims at the impersonal Brahman effulgence, and the Hatha Yoga system aims at the localized personal aspect, the Paramatma feature of the Absolute Truth, whereas Bhakti Yoga, or devotional service, which is executed in 9 different ways, headed by hearing and chanting, aims at complete realization of the Supreme Lord. There are different methods of self-realization, but here Devahuti especially refers to the Bhakti Yoga system, which has already been primarily explained by the Lord. The different processes of the Bhakti Yoga system are hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping the Lord in the temple, accepting service to Him, carrying out His orders, making friends with Him, and ultimately surrendering everything for His service. The word Nirvana Atman is very significant in this verse. Unless one accepts the process of devotional service, one cannot end the continuation of material existence. As far as Jnanis are concerned, they are interested in Jnana Yoga, but even if one elevates oneself after a great performance of austerity to the Brahman effulgence, there is a chance of falling down again to the material world. Therefore, Jnana Yoga does not actually end material existence. Similarly, regarding the Hatha Yoga system, which aims at the localized aspect of the Lord, Paramatma, it has been experienced that many yogis, such as Vishvamitra, fall down. But Bhakti yogis, once approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, never come back to this material world, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Yadgatva na navartante. Upon going, one never comes back. Tyaktva deham punad janma naiti. After giving up this body, he never comes back again to accept a material body. Nirvana does not finish the existence of the soul. The soul is ever existing. Therefore, nirvana means to end one's material existence, and to end material existence means to go back home, back to Godhead. Sometimes it is asked how the living entity falls down from the spiritual world to the material world. Here is the answer. Unless one is elevated to the Vaikuntha planets and is directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is prone to fall down, either from the impersonal Brahman realization or from an ecstatic trance of meditation. Another word in this verse, Bhagavad Bana, is very significant. Bana means arrow. The Bhakti Yoga system is just like an arrow aiming up to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhakti Yoga system never urges one toward the impersonal Brahman effulgence or to the point of Paramatma realization. This bana, or arrow, is so sharp and swift that it goes directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, penetrating the regions of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. We must understand the Supreme Person, Tattvata, in truth. Generally, people are not interested in knowing about God or their relationship with Him. However, the entire Vedic instruction is for this purpose. First of all, we have to know God. Then we have to know our relationship with God. The next step is acting on the basis of that relationship. Krishna states that out of many millions of people, one may be interested in knowing the purpose of life. Human life is meant for this end, and if one does not come to this understanding, he is no better than an animal. We not only have to understand God and our relationship with Him, but also how to act in that relationship. In this way, we can perfect our lives. When one is a siddha, one understands himself. That is, one understands aham brahmasmi. I am not this body. This is Brahman realization, the Brahma Bhuta platform. When one attains this stage, he becomes very happy. However, we must progress beyond this and come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga. On that platform, there is variety and ananda, bliss. As stated previously, we are seeking spiritual variety, and if we do not enter the spiritual world, we will again fall down into the material atmosphere. The varieties of the spiritual world are mentioned in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verses 29 through 30. Cintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabir abhipalayantam lakshmi sahasra shata sambrama sevyamanam Govindamari Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamari Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. These verses mean, quote, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires, in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. Unquote. We should not consider Krishna's form to be imagined by some artist. He is described in the Vedas as Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham. He plays a flute, and his eyes are like the petals of a lotus flower. He wears a peacock feather, and his complexion is very beautiful, like a dark cloud. He is so beautiful that he attracts many hundreds of thousands of cupids. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. These are descriptions of Govinda found in the Shastras. In the material world, we are simply chewing the chewed, throwing it away, picking it up, and then chewing it again. Spiritual variety is not like this. Spiritual variety is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It is constantly increasing. It is even greater than the ocean, because the ocean does not increase. The shores of the ocean are set. They have certain limits. However, the ocean of bliss is constantly increasing. The more we enter into that spiritual bliss, the more we become joyful. The young people in the Hare Krishna movement chant the Hare Krishna mantra all the time. If this mantra were material, how long would they chant it? It is not possible to chant a material name for very long because the chanting would become hackneyed and very tiresome. No one could be satisfied simply by chanting Hare Krishna unless Hare Krishna itself were spiritual. We may chant Mr. John, Mr. John, Mr. John, but after an hour we will be fed up. However, the more we become spiritually advanced, the more bliss we will derive from chanting Hare Krishna. We can experience Ananda perfectly in the association of Krishna. We can associate with Krishna as a servant, a friend, a father, a mother, or a conjugal lover. There are 5 basic rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. In this material world, we experience the same rasas or relationships. We are related to someone as a father, a son, a lover, a beloved, a master, a servant, or whatever. These are perverted reflections of the relationship with Krishna found in the spiritual world. Today, in the material world, I may be relishing my love for my son, but tomorrow my son may be my greatest enemy. There is no eternity in this kind of love. Or if my son does not become my enemy, he may die. Today I may love some man or woman, but tomorrow we may break up. All of this is due to the defects of the material world. However, in the spiritual world, these relationships never break up. They simply increase, and this is called perfection. Krishna is very fond of tending Surabhi cows, but the Mayavadis cannot understand this. They say, "What is this Krishna?" Even Lord Brahma was bewildered. He said, "How is it that this Krishna, this boy of Vrindavan, is being worshipped? He is called the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How is that?" Lord Indra was also bewildered. Therefore, if we do not wish to be bewildered, we have to understand Krishna in truth from Krishna himself or his bona fide representative. The activities of Krishna are not ordinary but divine. If we can understand this, we immediately become liberated. We need only understand the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis. These pastimes are not ordinary. In the material world, a young man wants to dance with many young girls, but Krishna's dancing with the gopis is different. Because people cannot understand Krishna, when they hear about Krishna's dancing with the gopis, they take this as some kind of concession and say, "Now let us dance with young girls." In this way, they go to hell. Therefore, we have to learn from the proper person about Krishna's activities. We should not immediately try to understand Krishna's dealings with the gopis, for they are very confidential. These dealings are given in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this indicates that we have to understand Krishna as he is by first reading the preceding 9 cantos. When we have understood these 9 cantos, we can go on to the 10th. In this way, we can understand that Krishna's activities are not ordinary, but divine, and we can immediately become liberated. We may either hear about Krishna, chant his names, worship him, or offer prayers. In any case, we should work under the directions of our spiritual master or Sri Krishna himself. For instance, Hanuman simply carried out Lord Ramachandra's orders. Hanuman apparently had no education, and he was not capable of teaching Vedanta, but he simply carried out the orders of Lord Ramachandra and attained perfection. Arjuna, on the other hand, took Krishna as his most intimate friend. Arjuna was not a Vedantist, but a fighter, a warrior. He had no time to study Vedanta because he had to deal with war and politics, but still he was the greatest devotee. People may say, "Oh, Arjuna was not a Vedantist, nor even a Brahmin or a sannyasi. How could Krishna accept him as a devotee?" Nonetheless, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 3, Krishna says that Arjuna is his very dear friend and devotee. Bhakto sime sakha cheti. If one becomes a devotee, there is no material impediment. Actually, bhakti should be automatic and spontaneous. There should be no motive in serving Krishna. But even if there is a motive, service rendered unto Krishna is good. Even if one approaches Krishna with some ulterior motive, one is considered pious. For instance, Dhruva Maharaj initially worshipped Krishna with a motive, but after attaining perfection in devotional service, his ulterior motive vanished. When he actually saw Krishna, he said, "I do not want anything from you. I don't want any benediction other than your service." After hearing about the many transcendental qualities of Krishna, if we somehow or other become attracted to Krishna consciousness, our lives will be successful. Tasmat kenapyupayena mana Krishne niveshayet, which means, quote, somehow or other, we have to attach our minds to Krishna consciousness, unquote. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1, verse 32. Then Krishna will help us and give us intelligence from within, as he indicates in Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 10, verse 10. Tesham satata yuktanam vajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te, which means, quote, to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me, unquote. This is actual Buddhi Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means Buddhi Yoga, because one who is highly intelligent decides to take to Krishna consciousness. In this way, one can perfect his life by engaging in devotional service under the directions of the Shastras and the spiritual master. Devahuti understands this and is thus submitting to her son just as Arjuna submitted to Sri Krishna on the battlefield. Text 30. Tare tan me vijanihi yataham mandadir hare sukham budhyeya durbodham yushabhavara nugrahad. Translation. My dear son Kapila, After all, I am a woman. It is very difficult for me to understand the absolute truth because my intelligence is not very great. But if you will kindly explain it to me, even though I am not very intelligent, I can understand it and thereby feel transcendental happiness. Purport. Knowledge of the absolute truth is not very easily understood by ordinary, less intelligent men. But if the spiritual master is kind enough to the disciple, however unintelligent he may be, then by the divine grace of the spiritual master, everything is revealed. Vishvanatha Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya prasadad, by the mercy of the spiritual master, the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavat Prasada, is revealed. Devahuti requested her great son to be merciful toward her because she was a less intelligent woman, and also his mother. By the grace of Kapila Dev, it was quite possible for her to understand the absolute truth, even though the subject matter is very difficult for ordinary persons, especially women. In this verse, Devahuti shows us the process for understanding transcendental subject matters. It is not by challenge, but by submission. The entire bhakti process is a process of submission. That is also Caitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Pranad api sunichena taror iva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. From the Shikshastika prayers, verse number 3. If one is interested in advancing and chanting Hare Krishna, Caitanya Mahaprabhu advises that one be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the trees. One should not be proud of his intelligence, but should give all respect to others. In this way one can chant Hare Krishna offenselessly. Although Devahuti was the mother of Kapila Dev, she presented herself as a humble woman. It was not that she considered herself superior because she was his mother. We have to please the spiritual master by service, and the entire bhakti process depends on the attitude of service. The transcendental nature of Krishna is not possible to understand with our blunt material senses. Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes are all divya, divine. Our present material senses have to be purified by engagement in the Lord's service, and our first engagement begins with the tongue. It is with the tongue that we can chant the transcendental names of the Lord. This is not very difficult, and this path is open to everyone, even women, Vaishyas, and Shudras. After describing all the faults of Kali Yuga, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 3, verse 51 states, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, astihye ko mahan guna, kirtanad eva krishnasya, mukta sangha param vraje. Which means, quote, there is one special advantage about this age of Kali Yuga, and that is that people can attain liberation and return home back to Godhead simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, unquote. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyata, which means, quote, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. There is no other way at all in Kali Yuga, unquote. We should try to avoid the 10 offenses in chanting the holy name, but anyone who chants Hare Krishna sincerely is purified. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Nivapanam, from the Shikshastika prayers, verse number 1. This is the easiest process by which the mirror of the mind can be cleansed. If Krishna sees that someone is sincerely chanting Hare Krishna, he will help. He is within everyone, and he can understand whether one is sincere or not. Krishna helps a sincere devotee internally and externally. Internally, he helps as Paramatma by giving intelligence from within. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Externally, he helps as his representative, the spiritual master. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija, which means, quote, by the grace of Krishna, one gets a bona fide guru, and by the grace of the guru, one gets Krishna, unquote. From the Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, verse 151. Thus, the Shastras have given us a very easy way to appreciate our transcendental life. That is the Krishna consciousness movement. Devahuti has submissively accepted her son as her guru. She wants to understand Krishna perfectly by the grace of Kapila Dev. It is very important to receive the causeless mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. By Krishna's mercy, we receive a spiritual master, and by the spiritual master's mercy, we receive Krishna. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur has greatly stressed the mercy of the Guru, and it is an actual fact that if we satisfy the Guru by our service, he will give us his blessings. This is a very great opportunity, for the Guru is the confidential servant of Krishna. The Guru never claims that he is Krishna, although he is worshipped as Krishna. Sakshadaritvein asamasta shastrair uktastatha bhavyate eva sadbhya. From Gurvashtika, verse number 7. All the Shastras describe the Guru as being on an equal basis with Krishna, for he is the representative of Krishna. Therefore, he is worshipped as Krishna. Being the most confidential servant of Krishna, the Guru is very dear to Krishna. Therefore, if he recommends someone to Krishna, Krishna accepts the person. The Guru is the confidential servant of Krishna because he canvasses from door to door saying, please become Krishna conscious and surrender unto Krishna. Krishna tells Arjuna that such a person is very dear to him. The bona fide Guru tells people to surrender not unto him, but unto Krishna. Thus one has to surrender unto Krishna through the via media of the Guru, not directly. This is the process. The Guru does not accept respect from his disciple for his personal self, but conveys this respect to Krishna. If we cannot receive the mercy of the Guru, Krishna is very difficult to approach directly. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that knowledge of Krishna is received through the parampara, the disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam. The Guru offers the same respects to his Guru, and his Guru offers respects to his, and so it goes all the way to Krishna. Thus the mercy of Krishna comes down through the parampara system, and the respect offered to Krishna is offered up through the parampara system. One has to learn to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way. Thus, if we want to approach God, we have to take shelter of the Guru in the beginning. Devahuti is begging the mercy of Kapila Dev in order to understand the way to approach Krishna. She approaches him very humbly, saying, "My dear Kapila, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but I am a woman, and my intelligence is not very sharp. Nonetheless, I want to understand these sublime transcendental subjects from you. It is possible by your mercy. The process of approaching and understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead was also discussed between Ramananda Rai and Caitanya Mahaprabhu. First, Ramananda Rai explained the process in terms of Varnashram Dharma. He said, first of all, that human life is meant for approaching Lord Vishnu through the rules and regulations governing Varnashram Dharma. Caitanya Mahaprabhu replied that it is very difficult in this age to execute the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma. It is very difficult to be a Brahmin in this age, and it is practically impossible to revive the old Varnashram Dharma culture. Caitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said that this method is not very practical. Caitanya Mahaprabhu has been called by Srila Rupa Goswami the most munificent avatara, because he distributes love of Krishna free of charge. First of all, we cannot even understand Krishna. Therefore, there is no question of loving him. If we do not understand someone, how can we love him? The love is very far away, but Caitanya Mahaprabhu is so kind that he distributes Krishna Prema, love of Krishna, to whomever will take it. In his life, Caitanya Mahaprabhu cried for Krishna and showed how one should be mad after him. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrashayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda Varahena Me, which means, quote, O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. Unquote. From the Shikshashtaka prayers, verse number 7. Without Krishna, one should see everything as vacant. This is Radharani's frame of mind. But this is not possible for an ordinary living being. It was possible for Caitanya Mahaprabhu and a few devotees, his immediate disciples like the 6 Goswamis, who were following in his footsteps. They worshipped Krishna in separation and sought Krishna everywhere. He Radhe Vraja Devake Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpa Padapa Tale Kalindi Vanye Kuta Goshantaviti Sarvato Vrajapure Keder Maha Vivalo Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghu Yugo Shri Jiva Gopalako, which means, quote, I offer my respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhan? Or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were their moods in executing Krishna consciousness. Unquote. From Shad Goswam Yashtika, 8th verse. The Goswamis never said, we have seen Krishna. This is the recommended process, worship in separation. We should awaken our lost Krishna consciousness in this way and become mad after Krishna in our separation from him. This is called Krishna Prema, and this love was distributed by Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We should not try to understand Krishna by our small knowledge. Since we are imperfect, how can we speculate on Krishna? There are many people like Jnanis and Theosophists who try to understand the absolute truth by speculation, but this is not possible. Atapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasada leshanu grita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko picharam vichinvan. Which means, quote, "My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate in order to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years." Unquote. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Verse 29. Even if one speculates for many years, he cannot understand Krishna. One has to receive the mercy of Krishna through the spiritual master, and this is the path recommended by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Stane stita shruti gata tanu vanmanobhi. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Verse 3. Another name for Krishna is Ajita. No one can conquer Krishna, but Krishna can be conquered by his devotee. One should be submissive and say, "Krishna, I am very poor. I have no means to understand you. Please be merciful upon me. Please allow me to understand you and surrender." This is wanted. Krishna is very merciful, and when he sees that someone has surrendered, he will help from within.